Hey everybody, it's Keith. Welcome to Wednesdays in Bed with Keith. Thank you for being here with me again. We're all sort of snuggled in, and here we go. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that I've been slightly obsessed with over the past year or so, and it is the homeless. So there are so many elements that go into the homeless. Like, how did they get there? Is there mental illness? Were they once successful and they lost everything? Who knows? And there are multiple stories, I'm sure, out there for the reasons why. So, I think I referenced my meeting the Blessed Mother when I was in Portugal, and that is a whole other story. I promise you, I'm going to get to that someday, but it would take up way too much time to get to. But one thing I learned in that, exalted meeting was that you should look into the eyes of people, and if you feel like they are needing your help, you should help them. So anyway, about a year ago, I met, well, I didn't meet, well, yeah, I met this little homeless guy who sort of works the corner near where I live. And he's very cutish. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't even know if that is a word. But he's tiny, and he sort of looks like a blend of like Opie Taylor and a farmer and maybe a train conductor from the 1800s, which is kind of a weird idea, like kind of a weird picture to have in your head. But he's nice enough. And I just like keep thinking that I want to find out his story. Like, how did he end up doing what he's doing? So in New Haven, there was this woman who used to work Chapel Street, so to speak. And she was an older lady and, lovely. I mean, there was nothing not to like about her. I mean, she looked like a grandmother. She looked like anyone's grandmother. And so every time I went by her, I would give her like $1. So on a really good day, she was really lucky because she would get, like $3 or $4 or $5, depending on how many times I went by her. So this one day she was sitting there, and I had purchased the shirt from this little store called Rags, and it's a kind of an expensive store. And I had to return the shirt and exchange it for a different size. So I pull up, and I jump out of the car, go into the store, get the shirt, come out of the car. And as I'm walking to the car, she says to me, "Hey, can you spare any money?" And I said to her, "I'm really sorry." I said, "But I don't have my wallet on me." And she literally looks at me and she says, "If you can afford to shop in that store, you can afford to give me something." And I was like, "What?" And so I said to her, "I don't know if you recognize me, but I give you money all the time." "Yeah, I recognize you," she said to me. "But I'm telling you, you should be able to give me something." So it kind of got my goat. And I'm not confrontational, but she was sitting in front of Starbucks, and I said to her, "You know what? I'm going to tell you something." I said, "Starbucks right now has a sign in the window that says, 'Help Wanted.'" I said, "Maybe you should go in and apply." And I kept on walking, and I never gave her another dime. I was just so like ticked off at the fact that she was so, straightforward. So anyway, um, I see this guy on Route 34, and I started off like I wanted to ask him how he got there, but I didn't want to like seem like I was either, coming on to him or belittling him or anything like that. So I was like, so I give him $1 and I go on my merry way. And then every day, pretty much, I mean, not every day, but multiple days during the week, I'll give him $1, and he sort of blesses me, and I figure, who doesn't need a blessing? So, but I started thinking about it, and I was like, "Oh my God, I wonder if he has any clothes. I wonder, where he lives and how he affords to eat and all this kind of stuff." And I was thinking, I wonder if I should give him some clothes from my closet. But then if I give him the clothes from the closet, is he gonna like be insulted? Crazy, crazy, right? So I was telling Rob, I said, there's this little guy and he works the corner. I said, and I just want to like take him home and give him a shower and maybe shave him and, give him my clothes. And Rob is just like, hold on, dude. Like, he's like, "No, never happening. Don't ever let me come home and find him in our shower or even in our house." He's like, "No, because you'll be out on the street." And I was like, "Oh my God." So anyway, I just want to see, what he looked like cleaned up. Not that I'm looking for him to be cleaned up, not for me anyway, for whoever. But, it was kind of funny that Rob is just like, hands off, dude. So, and Rob thinks I'm a sucker anyway. He's just like, you are such a sucker. You're a soft touch, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I know, but I love that about myself. So, as I'm driving a few weeks ago, he is telling me, as I give him like, $2, he's telling me how his wife needs $30 to make the copay on her dental appointment and they don't have it and it's been a slow day. And I was like, well, don't worry, you still got a lot of time, blah, 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 blah. You'll get it. And I take off and I go home. As I pull into the garage, and by the way, Rob cannot know this, so like mum's the word, he cannot hear about this because I will definitely be out on the street if he finds out. So I pull into the garage and I'm like, oh, he sounds legit. He just sounds so legit to me. So I back the car back out. I go around and I come back around and I wave him over to the car and he comes over and I'm like, listen, I'm putting my faith in you. I said, I'm hoping you're telling me the truth. And he's like, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. And I said, I'm trusting you. I said, again, I'm putting my faith in you because I believe in you. And I'm giving him this like lecture. And then I said, I don't have $30 on me. I said, but I do have 20. I said, so here's $20. And he starts to cry. And they're like genuine tears coming down. He's like, bless you, bless you. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. She's going to be so happy. Thank you so much. So I go on my merry way and I'm kind of feeling good about myself. Like, oh, I did something really good. And this has to be legit. Like, this has to be legit. So today I was on my way home and sure enough, there was my buddy. And I put down the window and he's like, I said, how's business? And he said, well, it's a little slow. He said, but I'm getting there. He said, I'm getting there. We want to buy a tent. He goes, because my wife needs a tent. And I'm thinking, wife? Like, so I handed him like $3 and he thanked me again. And I said to him, I realized that I had like chocolate covered pretzels from Whole Foods on the seat. And so I was like, do you like chocolate? And he's like, yeah, I love chocolate. So I open up the box of pretzels and I hand him a pretzel because I didn't want his hand going into the box of pretzels because I don't really know where it's been. And that's just So, so I give it to him and I'm like, hey, would your wife like one? Oh, she'd love it. She'd love it. Thank you so much. So now he and I are sort of getting a little bit of recognition. And so I'm thinking that pretty soon I'm going to pop the question and ask him like, what's your story? Where are you from? Like, how'd you end up here? And, we'll see how that goes. And, it's just kind of a little bit exciting to me to, like make a new friend. So anyway, no. And so anyway, I was thinking that we don't know how people end up where they are, right? So when I had my shoulder surgery done, I was not eligible for my workers' comp yet. So I was literally living, from my bank account and, I didn't have cash on hand. Because I wasn't getting, money through the business. And so I went to get ice cream one day and it was like $6 or something. And I hand her my debit card and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. We only take cash. And now I'm thinking, oh my God, they only take cash. I don't have a damn dime on me. So I go running to my car, which by the way, at the time I was driving my Jaguar. And I'm only saying that because they must have been thinking, oh, look at this dude, like, big sport. He's like driving this car, but he can't afford a $6 thing of ice cream. And so I'm rifling through the car. I find 25 cents, 50 cents, 75 cents, $1. And now I'm trying to work up to $6 plus a tip when suddenly I find a $10 bill at the bottom of my glove compartment. And I'm like, whoo, thank God. I give her the change, I give her the tip. I just was like, I'm out of here. So I'm in New Haven the next day and I'm walking down the street and this young woman is on the corner and she's like, can you spare any change? And I just looked at her and I was like, sister, 24 hours ago, I was you. And I just sort of laughed. But it made me think, we really don't know. Like, something could happen, like randomly and suddenly. You don't have to have mental illness or, be completely disabled to become homeless. Something could happen where you just end up in this position. So I think to myself, and this just pertains to me, if I'm doing something that I feel is the right thing to do, and I get blessings back, Why not? Right?